Welcome to the Midnight Exchange. This is episode, Zach, you know the number of the episode?
I think it's like 7 or 8 now, honestly.
All right, we'll just call it one of those two. Welcome to tonight's episode. It's going to be a shorter one. We started earlier and we're going to finish earlier than usual today because Zach has an important call with his global design team.
It is a global design team, though.
Before we hopped on this call, we were talking about a few things, but let's catch up a little bit. How's your week been, man? How was last week? What went on?
Dude,
barely talked to you this entire
It's been crazy. You messaged me like 12 times in one day and I didn't respond for 3 days because I've just been beat up. It's been crazy. I've literally been working, I want to say like 12, 13 hour days the past week. Just dealing with some internal stuff and some client projects and, deadlines and issues that we need to address. Other than that, I've been trying to sleep, but that doesn't happen much because then I'm woken up at 7:30 in the morning after being up till 2 o'clock in the morning to start jumping on.
How many hours of sleep are you averaging?
This past week, it's been terrible. It's been about like 5, maybe, if I'm lucky.
Oh, 5? That's not bad.
It's not terrible, but it's still not the best.
I'd say 3 is the number for me. Where I'm saying I've slept way more than that last week, but I'm saying if you're getting 3, then you're doing some real rager stuff out there.
It's happened to me before, but now luckily this weekend I got a chance to kind of catch up. I was gonna do a lot of work this weekend of my own stuff, but I went to bed Friday night and I
woke up on Monday morning.
I went to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning because I did end up doing stuff again, but I slept till 11:30 on Saturday and slept in on Sunday. Right. I got a lot of sleep this weekend. So anyways.
Yeah, you sound like my weekend, except I was sick. But
what have you been sick with? I was going to say, you sound a little funny.
My niece is sick, and I think every time she gets sick, either I get sick or my dad gets sick.
Are you serious?
And so babies have hypergerms, like they're contagions.
It's
Little
crazy.
Babies are fierce.
They're about as bad as my family. Anytime they get sick, it goes from one person to the other, and then sometimes
the domino effect.
Yeah,
so
it's
the entire
insane.
Newton clan is done.
Oh man, it kills me.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. When you didn't respond last week because you never go ghost.
Yeah,
I was like, I legitimately thought you might have been dead. I was close. I was close to messaging Michaela and saying, "Hey, is Zach alive?" Making sure. Now I'm not like in a rush to hear back from him, but this guy never goes off the grid. So last week must have been hellish. Can you go into any detail, or will you get sued?
It's not that I would get sued. It's just inappropriate for me to go into detail right now with the situation going on and just what we've been working on changing and uncovering, I should say. So maybe in a future episode we can go into a little bit of detail about the hellish week that was last week.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Yeah. Fine. I told you a little bit about it beforehand, so you
I know you did, but
you got some context
for the viewers. You got to give the viewers
for the listeners. We don't have video podcasts yet, but
I'm doing the live stream on Twitch.
Oh, darn.
No, I'm just kidding. But all right, let's see what we got on the docket.
Yeah,
I briefly found out that Catalina has run havoc on my computer, and I'm finding issues in every program that I use frequently. And it's not obvious flaws until you start to get into the programs. Yeah. But last week I spent literally, I think 2 hours just trying to get captions to work on Premiere. Just a regular caption file that they give you. I can't remember for the life of me the actual.
It's not CRT, is it? I'm thinking of something.
Yeah,
else.
SRT.
SRT, that's right.
So I'm just trying to get like a simple caption file. And so I mean captions, I mean subtitles for a video. And I'm searching the web. I can't figure out how to get this thing working at all. And out of nowhere, which is why the internet's great, there's some random forum where this random guy named Randy, I'm just going to give him the name Randy. Randy's like, "Hey, I can't get these captions to work." And then he updates it himself. These people are straight up angels who have problems and then they go to forums and actually put their solutions to the problems.
You got to love them.
Yeah, no. He said there's nothing wrong with the actual captions. There's an issue with Premiere that they haven't fixed yet. And he goes, you have to restart the entire program, save it as a separate file, open it, and then the captions will work. And I was like, holy crap. And it actually worked. So those are the kind of things that if you don't have the desire to work hard one day, you will just not go through all of the little steps. You'll just say, I can't figure it out. I can't do it. And you'll just go for another solution. But thankfully, the Randys of the world have put everything into forums.
Well, thank you, Randy.
Yeah. With that being said, I was going somewhere with that mindset. How's Catalina been for you?
Catalina hasn't been that bad for me, to be completely honest. I don't know. I'm actually surprised at how well it's been. The thing that's been a killer for me is iOS 13.
So your phones have been acting up?
My phones have been acting up, yes.
Hold on. You got more than one phone?
I do. I've actually got three phones.
And you use them regularly?
I use them all regularly. I have one as my daily driver, and then I use my two other ones for
your daily driver. You keep it in your car?
No, I keep it in my pocket. You can't drive a phone. No, what I mean is I have one phone that I use literally every day for texting, internet, whatever it is, email. But then I have two other phones. What
model is that one?
It's the iPhone 11.
Oh, so it's the newest
Max.
One.
Yeah, it's the newest. It's the biggest beauty, the green color. Did you get yours yet?
I'm not getting it.
You're not?
No, I'm not going to get it.
Green, it's so worth spending $1,200 on green.
That's pretty much what it is, right?
It's exactly all it is.
I did make the justification that a phone is the most important tool to have, just because you use it more than anything else.
As a business person, yes.
As a business person, I use it more than, it's literally like my mini assistant. It's my assistant off the books, I'm telling you. So it is worth it. Like next year, I'll definitely upgrade, but I'm gonna ride with my phone. I'm gonna probably keep it till the end of the 2-year upgrade program.
Yeah, I've got.
But I'm still interested. So you got a phone that you use for your usual calls and texts and everything. What about the other two? What are those for?
The other two, I have an iPhone 6S Max. Wait, no, that's totally wrong. Is it?
Let's just go with it. They change the name every
Max,
year.
Right?
You got the Uber edition.
I have the big iPhone 6S, and then I have the small iPhone 7S. And so I use those both for both design and development and testing. And I think that's about it.
So you take all three to work with you every single day?
Not all three. I actually left one at my office. Just before I jumped on this call, though, actually, I was just doing a test. I had my iPhone 11 Pro Max, my computer, the MacBook Pro, my other iPhone 6S Plus, that's what it is, 6S Plus, and my iPad Pro all running to do a test because we were doing some performance testing with like live streaming and such. So that was all just going on before I jumped on this with you.
And you can have your Apple ID linked on every single device like that at once?
Oh, yeah. I've got my Apple ID. It's on everything. All three phones, my computer. Well, now it's computers. It used to be computers. My iPad and my watch.
You want to know it's a real pain in the butt? Have you ever tried switching your email for your Apple ID?
I did once, and I did it, and I will never do it again.
I'm going to have to keep one of my emails for life because of the hell I'm going to go through when I have to change that Apple ID.
Dude, it was so bad. I can't even remember how bad it was, to be honest. All I remember is that I just was like, you know what? I bought music on this Apple ID, but it's not even worth it. I just deleted that whole account.
I straight up cut my losses with the music.
I know.
Cut my losses.
I deleted that account and created a whole new account. I was like, I'm never going to change this. I'm never going to do anything again.
I think they allowed me to have a transfer of ownership, but you have to go through like the Apple Court of Appeals in order to get the actual clearance.
Yeah.
To do it. It's literal hell. It's the equivalent of going to an Apple store. You don't know who's in charge and you have to find out who it is. Like it's almost like Where's Waldo on the internet of which page you go to get your Apple ID. And I love Apple, but I'm going to endlessly talk crap about this process. It's hellish. It shouldn't be that hard to swap ownership.
It really shouldn't.
Don't punish me for making my first Apple ID my college email. And you need to change that when you leave.
You can
college.
Never access that email again. You try to change it afterwards.
I had it on my college email, and It's spam to death. That college email still exists, and it's still getting spam.
I have my college. Well, I mean, I'm still technically, I guess, enrolled in college, but there's so many emails in that, and I don't check a single dang one of them, man. There's nothing in there that's important whatsoever.
Mine just exists.
It's crazy, but
I just leave mine. I leave mine open.
Yeah.
For the day that I forget a password on an account I didn't remember I had, to go back and have a recovery possibility. Because what happens when you have to recover an account with an email that you discontinued? You can never close the account.
It's true. Pretty much.
Yeah, I had to do this with AOL recently. My screen name from elementary school was still active. Like, it was still active, and something was there. Like, something, I had to like close out my MySpace account because I had been like hacked.
Yeah.
MySpace, yeah. People probably like had to like get the wax out of their ears. I'm talking about MySpace. Yeah. I had to literally go back to my AOL email, which I didn't know still existed. And I had to speak to like 5 people on the phone just to get it done. And the process to do that was crazy. Like, yeah. It was
Do
nuts.
I even want to know what you had to do?
I'm not going to go into it.
Okay.
I'm ashamed. I'm just kidding.
All right, then.
Moving onward here.
So one thing that I actually did, not the weekend that just passed that I slept for 300 hours, the prior weekend. So 2 weeks ago, what I ended up doing, I followed your lead. Actually, I bought an audiobook, and
wow.
It was great. I was actually surprised, dude. I woke up early on Saturday because I actually got to sleep on Friday night. I got up early. It was like 7:30. You know, it was like the perfect day, like the best day I could ask for. I get up early, make a cup of coffee. It's great. Not in my life. No. I make the cup of coffee.
Just a random Saturday was the best day of your life.
Just some random day. Nothing's ever happened better. No, I'm just kidding. Got that coffee. I was like, you know what? I need to read this book, but I don't have time, and I want to do that. I'm like, let me buy this book. So I buy the book. I mean, granted, this one, it wasn't super like long or anything. Let me look it up and see if I can.
Is it the one you bought hardcover?
No, I didn't buy one that I already had. So I bought one. So at the company I work at, the CEO and we talk a little bit. So he actually will share with me some of the books that he reads every now and then, or I don't know if he reads them or listens to them.
Have you ever asked him if it's true that CEOs read an average of 60 books a year?
No, not yet.
Ask him. I want to know if those ads are BS.
My goal is to get through that many, but
you don't buy the baloney. The Blinkist baloney.
No, I don't think it depends. I think it depends on how well your company is being run, to be honest, for however many.
The more books you read, the better run your company is?
Well, maybe. I think it's the inverse. I think the better run your company is, the more books you read, because that means there's less fires you got to put out. That's what I think. But to answer your question, the name of the book.
Though. We could sub that out with films.
It's true.
All right, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah. So the name of the book is Help Them Grow or Watch Them Go.
Okay, I already know what this book's about.
And that's what you're hearing in the background right now. But anyways.
Is it about... Tell me what it's about.
So it's about your employees, honestly, and analyzing how performant they are and things like that. And, trying to understand if it's worth your investment to... build them up, or just to kind of let them go. It really is what it sounds like. Let them grow or let them go, or help them grow and let them go. I think that's what it is. So
you read the book.
I just gave you the summary.
help them grow or let them go. What is the name of it?
Help them grow or let them go. And that is from actually, I don't know who it's from. No, it's from Beverly Kay and Julie Winkle Giuliani. Yeah.
Got it.
Help them grow or watch them grow. It's not bad. It's a relatively short book, but I was very pleased with the audiobook because I got up, got the coffee, sat down. I actually did a ton of work on the Midnight Exchange website, which I am trying to get back to sometime this week and get that fully knocked out. But I sat there, developed for a good 3 hours, listened to the book in like a few hours. God, everyone woke up at like 9:30, at 10 o'clock. By that time, I had already listened to an entire book, done a ton of development. Just like, I felt on top of the world that day. So I'm going to have to do that again. So if you're listening, buy an audiobook. The nice thing is you get through it so quickly that even if you don't hear everything and understand everything, going back and listening to the entire thing over again is so much easier than if you were to read a book, miss something, and then have to read through the whole book again.
This podcast is brought to you by Audible. You said in the code. Oh, okay, no, that's good. Though. Is the book about? I have a question about the actual content. It sounds to me it's about probably leaders that empower their employees, and if you're not willing to empower them, then let them go.
It's not so much that if you're not willing to empower them, it's really about
who do you want to invest in?
Well, yeah, it really talks about, how do you invest your time, and if you are to invest your time, well, not if you are to, just like if you have employees, how do you measure performance and understand, is it worth you putting more time into them? If you invest your time into them, are you going to get any return in that? If you're not going to get a return in that, and it's not as black and white as this if you listen to the book, but if you do invest your time and you don't get a return, or you're not ever going to get a return, it's probably a situation where you should let them go, because they're not helping your company grow. They're not even helping themselves grow in that case.
So give us the Newton nugget. What's the big takeaway from the book itself? What is the personal application?
The personal application, you're gonna have to. I finished this a week and a half ago, and I've been up all day today. But
a week and a half ago, you said you finished it Saturday.
No, not this Saturday. Last Saturday.
Oh, the one before. All right,
the one before. No, so it gives you some certain metrics to look at and understand, and I'm not gonna go over all of those because I can't remember them all off the top of my head right now. And you should buy the book just because it's cheap and quick to listen to. But it gives you some nice metrics to take a look at and analyze your employees or whoever else is working underneath you to understand who you should start investing more time into, not because they're bad, but because the return you're going to get is going to be much greater than investing into someone else. So
seeing how much they can grow, how much they can bring back to the company. You want
to help them grow. I mean, as a company, you want to hire people that you can invest time into and resources, and they will grow at an exponential rate. But if they're not, you need to, it basically tells you, look, this is your goal. This is what you want to do. You want to grow people and you want them to aid in, growing the business as well. But if it's not working, here's when you have to let them go, period. Like, in a nutshell, that's what the book is about.
That's a great book right there.
Dude,
it sounds like a great premise. It reminds me of, maybe a little bit on a tangent, but I was watching one of my favorite shows called Chef's Table.
Yeah.
And there's an episode of this famous baker now named Christina Tossi.
Mm-hmm.
She owns Milk Bar in New York. And it used to be inside of Momofuku, which is this another famous chef's name, Dave Chang, who runs it. So she was underneath this like renowned chef, or not so renowned at the time, but she got her start over there as a cook or as a baker. I don't remember, but she would make her family recipes, or like her personal dessert recipes for the family dinners. That's what they call it when the employees have dinner before the actual shift begins at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And she made something that just blew everybody's mind. And so they made it a menu item, and it just kept on growing. The demand kept growing so much that the boss, instead of like hoarding her and wanting to like use that for his own project, he said, no, you need to go. And he's like, pretty much forced her to leave to start her own thing. And so that's like an extreme way of helping people grow. But I believe in that 100%. 100%.
Well, okay then. I mean, that's, again, if you listen to the book, I mean, it does talk a lot about what you just mentioned. It does kind of help you define those lines. So if you have 2.5 hours, I think that's all it really was. It's nothing compared to the 7-hour book you mentioned about in the prior podcast. But I mean, go buy it, go listen. It's cheap. Just give it a quick listen. And again, it's nice because if you don't catch it all, you can go back and listen to it again very quickly.
On that note, I think we talked about the audiobooks. We talked about all these different things. We're not going to have enough time for my subject, but we're going to have to get into this.
We can start getting into it. I do have to leave in 3 minutes, which you know of already. But anyways,
over the last few weeks, I've gotten the chance to get into a show I've been wanting to watch for a long time, Boardwalk Empire.
I've heard
my dad watched
that
it.
name.
My dad watched it. He swears that he recommended the show to me, but I recommended it to him first.
I see.
And I'm actually on the 4th season. And I think it's cemented itself on the Mount Rushmore of shows.
Yeah.
My personal Mount Rushmore of TV shows, which brought to mind Mount Rushmores of TV shows. What is your Mount Rushmore of TV shows? Do you have one? It'd be your top 4 TV shows of all time.
You want me to give you my top 4?
Top 4.
Right off the bat.
There's 4 presidents in Mount Rushmore, right?
Yeah, there's 4. Well, there's 4. Right off the bat, Madmen is number 1.
Oh, are you going to rank them? Is this in a particular order?
No. I just know that Madmen trumps also. I'll go with Madmen first. Breaking Bad is great. The Walking Dead, I'm about 5 seasons behind now, but that's great as well. And if I had to pick a 4th one, it would be American Horror Story, but only the first 2 seasons.
So I don't know if that's allowed. I guess it is allowed. You're putting an entire show on there just for a few seasons.
I mean, they're really good. The thing is every season is different. So really, you could consider it as multiple different TV shows.
All right. So
what are your 4?
All right. My 4, and now I'm going to follow this up with a greater conversation. My personal 4, it's going to be tough because I'm going to have to give the boot to some really great shows.
Ooh.
Let's do the obvious ones. Mad Men and Breaking Bad are both on there.
Oh, of course.
I'm really tempted to put Game of Thrones on there, but they butchered that entire last season.
I heard that, but I haven't seen it. Well, any of it actually yet.
In fact, I'm so mad at them that Boardwalk is going to be 3rd.
Okay.
And 4th.
The 4th is always the toughest.
4th. I said Mad Men, right?
You did. Mad Men, Breaking Bad, Boardwalk Empires.
I got to put damn Game of Thrones up there. All right, Game of Thrones.
Right, Game of Thrones.
That's my top 4.
Okay.
And if I had to put it in an order, Game of Thrones is going to be, oh my God, is it last? No, Boardwalk's last.
Let's not even talk about order. That's a whole nother podcast.
I'll have to say Breaking Bad is first, probably. And then Mad Men is second.
Okay.
But as far as dialogue goes and actual character-to-character dialogue, I'd have to say Mad Men and Boardwalk might be number 1.
Mad Men's just an incredible show.
Now, that takes me to Mount Rushmore of all-time television characters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, characters.
Top 4.
Okay.
Yeah, top 4. I know my top 4.
Are we talking about
TV characters?
Ooh.
No, TV characters. So like, for example,
movie, TV show, or does it have to be like a television channel?
Just TV show. I mean, a character from a show. So like, you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. So top 4, it's got to be Don Draper.
John Hamm.
I'm not going to, no, we're going, not John Hamm. Don Draper.
Okay. That is Don Draper. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I know. I'm being, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't want John Hamm up there. I want Don Draper.
I got you.
Get me. All right. Bryan Cranston. Oh, crap. Walter White. Walter White. I really want to leave Nucky Thompson from Boardwalk Empire off of this thing, but Let's leave him off for now. Let's put Rick Grimes up there.
Ooh.
He didn't make the Mount Rushmore of TV shows, but that's not his fault as a character.
Correct.
Rick Grimes is up there. And number 4. Tommy Shelby from Peaky Blinders.
I have to watch it. I started watching it, but I fell off after the first episode. Not because it's bad. I just got preoccupied.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
Okay, all right. My top, obviously, is Don Draper. Okay, Don Draper.
That we both got that one.
Yeah,
I have a feeling you're gonna put Walter White.
Actually, no, not Walter White. I'm gonna go with Jesse Pinkman.
What?
Jesse Pinkman's awesome, and not my favorite thing. I just think it's hilarious because literally I have lost count for the amount of times that I've been mistaken for Jesse Pinkman, the actual actor. Dude, straight up, like I walk into a store and at least almost every other week,
Every other week, it happens to you?
I'm not even kidding you, man. Almost every other week, someone is like, if I get close to them, they'll tell me, "Oh,
you're not that guy.
Have you ever seen Breaking Bad?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Dude,
why do you should
you
go
look
along
exactly
with it.
like Jesse Pinkman." I know. I was about to do that. Next time I go somewhere, they're gonna be like, "What's your name?" And I'll be like, "Aaron." What?
No,
For those who don't know, Jesse Pinkman's real name is Aaron Paul.
My name is Jesse.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Jesse Pinkman on the second one. Just
that's
I
wild.
think it's amazing.
That's a wild card option right there. So you got Jesse and Don.
Don Draper, Jesse Pinkman, and which reminds me, if you haven't watched the El Camino movie, you need to.
Pete Campbell's not on your Mount Rushmore?
We'll talk about that in another episode. Pete Campbell? No, I want to punch Pete Campbell in the face. Jeez.
You know who would be a good addition up there would be Roger Sterling. Roger
Sterling is pretty great.
I mean, that's a whole separate conversation. He's definitely on the Mount Rushmore of Madmen characters.
Well, listen, I think Madmen itself is going to be its own season at this point. But Roger Sterling's great, but I can't pick him as my third. I don't feel okay picking
2 characters from the same show.
Exactly. So it's got to be, it's Don Draper, it's Jesse Pinkman. I'll go with you on Rick Grimes. I like Rick Grimes a lot.
Rick Grimes had some epic TV show moments.
Yes. And then after that, the problem is I'm struggling to think of another. Okay, you know what? No, this kid is I cannot think of his name. Let me. Are you
gonna put the kid from Dark?
The kid from Dark? No, I'm not gonna put him. I want to see, what is this kid's name? I'm looking at. It's from American Horror Story. It's the kid that is.
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen a single episode of American Horror Story.
You haven't seen a single episode, really?
Never.
Evan Peters is his real name, and I'll go with his real name on this one because in the different seasons he's in, he portrays a different character. But I really think this kid's like performance and acting is phenomenal. Like the way he can just switch to these completely different characters between seasons is insane. Like up there with Sarah Paulson, I believe her name is, who's also from that show. Incredible.
I'm trying to find out what his name was on the show.
Well, I don't know.
He was
American Horror Story. He was
Tate Langdon.
Yeah, Tate Langdon. Sorry.
Tate Langdon.
But
he plays multiple characters.
Oh, he plays many. James Marsh, Jimmy Darling. Tate Langdon is.
I'm confused. How is he multiple characters on one show?
Because every season of American Horror Story is different. And even though a lot of the actors are the same, they also play different characters. Except for now, you get into this. I don't know, man. They're like I said, the first 2 seasons, great.
Are the stories connected?
They weren't until this season. Well, not this season, the last season, about the end of the world or some apocalypse thing.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. Does that caps off your Mount Rushmore? Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah.
Evan
Jesse
Peters.
Pinkman, Evan Peters. Yeah. Rick
I guess
Grimes.
I'll let you get away with it because I haven't seen the show, so you can have all 3 characters he plays in the show.
Okay.
And Jesse Draper,
Pinkman, Don Draper, Evan Peters, and Rick Grimes. Yep.
Okay, solid. I think I win personally, but
just because of one character, 3 of ours, 3 out of 3 is the same.
No, two.
Don
and Rick.
Oh no, you said Walter White. That's right.
Yeah,
okay.
Walter White beats Jesse. Yeah, as we know from El Camino, I wasn't as impressed with El Camino as you were. I did watch it.
I didn't say I was impressed. I just said you had to see it. It was not the.
Oh, okay.
It was not the movie I thought it was going to be. I mean, I'm glad to see, Breaking Bad continued a little bit, but
it felt
we'll
like
have to have a whole.
It really did feel like, and look, they're phenomenal. And I was half distracted, like a quarter of the movie. Yeah, but it felt like they should have done this closer together with at the end of the show.
Absolutely.
But I guess he didn't have I'm sure he didn't know what happened to Jesse entirely. He had to flesh that out. And then I agree that there was room for this movie. But then I think what also did it for me was I didn't look into the film at all. And so for some reason, I could have swore that the people rushed in when Walt was still, I felt like there was a small possibility Walt was arrested and like put into like intensive care like immediately. I thought there was a small chance that Walter was still alive and that's how this was going to play out in El Camino. But I was wrong and he's dead. So the movie was all Jesse Pinkman, which made me realize quickly that if Breaking Bad didn't have Walter White, it would have been a really, really... well, then again, if they didn't have Jesse Pinkman playing off of Walter White too, it wouldn't have been very, very good. Yeah. You need Lennon and McCartney. The Lennon and McCartney of cooking meth. All right. Well, that's going to conclude this week's episode. It was short, random and fun as usual. Yeah. Thank you for listening.
To catch up.
What's up?
No, I'm saying I'm glad we got to catch up. It's been completely in the dark this entire week so far. So
yeah, we'll talk about that. I'm upset with you. We'll talk about that off air.
All right, fine.
All right, Zach, let them know where they can find us.
All right. So if you want to go ahead and find us, you can find us on Twitter at THEME Podcast. If you want to find us on Instagram or Facebook, it's at The Midnight Exchange. Our website is themidnightexchange.com. And if you want to send us an email, it's at podcast@themidnightexchange.com.
And the NBA season starts tomorrow, right?
Ooh. Okay. All right. Well, we'll let you drive the next podcast because you're going to have a lot to talk about. You got to keep me up to date on this.
Got to get into it. I'm telling you, join
I'll try and watch a little bit more of it this year.
Podcast research. Yes. All right, y'all. Thank you.
All right, man. Have a good one, everybody.